So Arteta has been at Arsenal for over 5 years now. Since he joined the club, they've won the FA Cup in his debut season, and other than that, it's just been a series of successive improvements up on the squad, up on league position, up on domestic cup competitions, but they've not won anything. Already this season feels like a classic Arsenal season. At the time of making this video, they are 6 points behind Liverpool, who sit at the top of the table, and they don't look to be winning the league again. Arteta's had what feels like £1 billion spent on this squad, and that's me overreacting. It's obviously not £1 billion, but every season Arsenal have splashed the cash in the summer windows, frequently spending over £100 million per season to improve the squad. And yes, the style of play is significantly better from when he first joined. Yes, they look like a team who could win something, but they need to get something won. So he joined them in December in 2019-20, and his first lineup was incredibly different. A back four of Maitland-Niles, Socrates, David Luiz and Bukayo Saka do not scream a solid Arsenal defence, which is what Arteta's made them known for now. Obviously, Saka moved to right wing, the other three aren't anywhere to be seen in football anymore. Xhaka feels like the only player who Arteta actually saw going forward as one of his boys. You know, Mesut Ozil in midfield were coming towards the end of his spell. Lacazette never really had the requisite quality that was needed. Aubameyang with his attitude problems. Reece Nelson's a bit of a young prospect who just never quite became that elite level player. And Torreira was a snappy ball winner who couldn't really provide much more. In this season, Martinelli and Saliba were signed, but they were players for the future. But they did win the FA Cup, as I say, against Chelsea, and that was a sign to Arsenal fans thinking, yeah, we finally start winning things. In the 2020-21 season, Arsenal came 8th. Key players signed, like Partey and Gabriel at centre-back to solidify that defence a bit more, and Arteta's a manager who's defence first, attack second. Odegaard also signed on an initial loan from Real Madrid, and obviously they made it permanent. And really this was a foundation laying season for Arteta. It was a season where he could really work out the players who he wanted to keep at the club and the ones who he knew were not in the long-term project. And he really upscaled in the 2021-22 season, because we saw Ben White come in, Odegaard came in on a permanent, Ramsdale signed, Tomiyasu also signed, and he was their first choice right back at this time, because obviously Saliba, he was out on loan at this point still, so it was Gabriel and Ben White at centre back, Tomiyasu at right back, and then Kieran Tierney at left back, or whoever else there was available. And they finished 5th, so they got Europa League football, and they were actually only 2 points off of 4th. Again, upscaling in quality significantly for the 2022-23 season. Gabriel Jesus and Trossard signed to really bolster that front line and go along Bukayo Saka. Jorginho offered Partey some cover. Zinchenko came from City and knew the style of play just like Gabriel Jesus, as Zinchenko started in that inverted left-back role. And Saliba returned from his loan, so all of a sudden Arsenal's back four was Ben White at right back, and then they had Saliba and Gabriel, who is their centre-back pairing now, and then at left-back it was Zinchenko. They were breathing down City's neck for a lot of that season. They only finished 5 points behind them, a 15-point improvement upon the previous season. Arteta had his strategy implemented to a really good degree. And then last season, the 2023-24 season, Arsenal were leading for basically the whole season. They ended up finishing 2 points behind City, which was pretty gutting for a lot of football fans, because nobody wants City just to be winning it every season. 89 points was a very good points return. Rice came in for over 100 million from West Ham, made a good impact. David Raya came in from Brentford, controversially displaced Ramsdale, but it looks like that was probably the right decision now. Havertz, potentially the most misunderstood player in football, came in, offering versatility in left centre mid, or crucially as a bit of a false nine sort of striker. And Timber came in, but until this season we've not really seen the fruits of his signing because he's been injured. And that brings us to now. So Arsenal currently sitting second, 2 points behind Liverpool. Last season they had 2 more points at this stage of the season. Season before that, they had 4 more points at this stage of the season. So they haven't actually improved. Lewis Skelly has come from the youth academy and is making his presence felt at left back, meaning that new signing Calafiori isn't necessarily getting the game time that he wanted, but obviously they've got the Champions League, domestic cup competitions, so Calafiori is still getting plenty of game time, and he obviously got that crucial winner against City in their first half of the season fixture, so he's still an important player. Merino came from Real Sociedad, and obviously after winning the Euros in the summer, he's come to Arsenal, and the midfield three of Partey, Rice and Odegaard is a difficult one to get in, so Merino's slowly working his way in. Again, in the Champions League, Arsenal finished 3rd, and Merino played his part. So Arsenal sit here in a position where they've got players for every position of world-class quality, so what is stopping them from getting over the line? The only key injury that they've really had this season is Bukayo Saka, obviously a very crucial player to the way that they play, And people have been saying for years now that Arteta needs to be managing his minutes because he's so young. He could get a serious injury or he could just burn out really early, and that's happened. I feel like the jury should definitely be out for how Arteta has treated Saka, for the way that he's run him into the ground. But I do feel like Arsenal have to win something this season. 6 points off Liverpool in the Premier League. Liverpool don't have as much squad depth. They've also got the Champions League and the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup, or not the FA Cup, sorry, because Plymouth knocked them out, but they've still got two key competitions. City are way off it. City are like 10, 15 points behind Liverpool at this stage. I think it's 15 points. So let's write City out of the equation. They're going to go for it in the Champions League. They've gone for it in the January window. So really, it's up to Liverpool or Arsenal to win the Premier League. Arsenal have the better team on paper in theory. If you did a combined Liverpool and Arsenal 11, I'm not going to do that in this video, but I feel like Arsenal would probably have 6, 7 players, Liverpool would have the rest. Even in the Champions League, I feel like Arsenal are probably in the top 3 squads in the world, really. Like, there's Real Madrid, there's Liverpool, there's Bayern Munich, there's City. They're definitely in the top 5 at the very least. But crucially, Arteta does know what it's like to win. Obviously, as Pep's assistant manager for those years at City, he learnt his foundations, he learnt a winning mentality, he learnt how to get teams over the line. At Arsenal, obviously, it's not as black and white as just getting yourself over the line, because key things happen in football, there's unpredictable things that happen, your team might just not turn up on the day, you get injuries, there's so many factors that go into it. And 90 minutes can be make or break to win a title, as we saw last season with Arsenal, because they lost it by 2 points. If they just turned one of those losses into a win, they'd have had the title, but it doesn't always work like that. I feel like eventually questions may have to be asked on whether Arteta is the right man to get Arsenal over the line in the Premier League, in the Champions League, get another FA Cup, whatever it is, because frequently they're falling at the last hurdle, like last season, and quite frankly, the objective has to be the title eventually, and he's not getting there. So let me know down in the comments, do you think Arsenal are going to get over the line this season? Do you think if they don't, Arteta has to be questioned as to whether he's the right man for the job to get them over the line? I'd be interested to see what you guys think, because I'm not sure. But thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe whilst you're here, and I'll catch you in the next one.